Hey podcaster, I'm Tim Wahlberg, your podcast performance coach, with another actionable tip so you can grow your authority and convert with ease. Today's tip is how to know if you need a podcast producer. What is a podcast producer? Do you need one? Should you hire one? What do they do and how different are they from an editor and a coach? Well, if you're wondering about what a podcast coach is, listen to my last episode 140. It's all about what a podcast coach does and how they can help you. But in the world of TV, radio, and big media, there are many levels of producers, and that's where I think some of the confusion lies. You may have heard of an executive producer, technical producer, line producer, co-producer, associate producer, segment producer, and on and on and on. But let's talk about podcasting. For many of you, you might be a one-person show. You're doing it all. So what could a podcast producer do for you and your show? A podcast producer is responsible for the consistency and flow of the show in the general sense and on an individual episode basis. The producer is going to be responsible for choosing a good topic, finding the right guest, screening that guest, and making sure that the host has all the information they need. They make sure the content or interview flows smoothly and serves the purpose that was intended when the producer booked that guest or picked that topic. This is not your editor's job. Your editor has their own role. Your producer should be someone different, and your producer shouldn't be working by themselves. They have to be working with the host, and you both need to be on the same page at all times. Your producer will be the one in communication with the editor to make sure that they have all the pieces, and they listen to the show to make sure that everything is as it should be, and there aren't any final changes needed before it gets published. They may also be responsible for researching the title or coordinating with a writer or a VA, a virtual assistant, who will be doing the episode show notes and social media and things like that. So now you might be thinking, well, there's an editor, a VA, and a writer, and now there's a producer on top of that. Yeah, a producer can take all of the planning, all that coordinating and quality control off of your plate, which will give you more time to spend with your clients or with your family. That's one way it can work. Another way is what I call a production house or podcast service providers. These are one-stop shops where they provide all of these services, and it might be a good idea to incorporate everything into one team versus satellite providers that require a little more coordination. So the question becomes, do you need a podcast producer? Well, everyone's podcast has different demands depending on the format and who's involved. If you're a team of one and are doing all of the producing tasks yourself, this is a good reminder that you need to sometimes put on that producer hat and step back and think about the bigger picture. Yes, you are doing all the tasks, but what's falling through the cracks? Could those tasks be done better by someone else? What could you be doing instead? So should you hire a podcast producer? Well, let's look at the ROI on a producer. You'll have a positive ROI if that producer is going to significantly increase your listenership by picking better topics, bringing in better guests, preparing those guests, and arming them with promotional material to help spread the word. You'll also have a positive ROI if the producer helps to ensure that your show serves your listener and contributes to listeners becoming customers. These can be tricky things to measure, but worth considering. Here's one more consideration, and it's the big one. Will having a podcast producer free up your time so that you can focus on income-generating tasks or selling more widgets? You know what I'm saying, right? Ultimately, you should hire a podcast producer if the time you spend coordinating your podcast is eating into your ability to make more money or scale your business. And I hope that's just the tip you need. I know your podcast has a lot of moving parts. Maybe you can handle things the way they are. Maybe you do have a level of support that's working, but you're not getting the results you want. You might need a podcast tune-up. Let's take a look at your show together. What's working and what's not? Is it the tech? Is it the content, your format, or your performance? If you're guessing from week to week as to what to talk about or who you should invite on your show, you might need some clarity. Book a free 15-minute coaching call with me. You'd be surprised at what we can cover in a short chat. Don't go it alone. Book your free 15-minute coaching call right now at podcastperformancecoach.com. I'm Tim Wahlberg. See ya.